This episode of the T4 Show is brought to you by Netflix. Watch thousands of TV episodes and movies on your PC, Mac, iPad, iPhone, or TV instantly. All streamed directly to you, saving you time, money, and hassle. For your free 30-day trial, go to netflix.com/GFQ. Hey everyone, welcome to the T4 Show. This is episode number 146 for June 19th, 2013. My name is Michael Manna. Today we were supposed to supposedly have a slow news week Q&A session with our audience, which we're still going to have, but up until about 4 hours ago, Colm and I discovered that this is not indeed a slow news day, right, Colm?
Not at all, Michael. I couldn't even believe that this, and especially it comes at the end of the day. So yeah, we have some big news, especially for those people who are still debating on which system to pre-order. Is this the time I hit the theme song for myself, or is that
no?
Oh,
no!
Damn it! Oh, yeah, but I'm happy to be here.
Well, here's the thing. What we're talking about is we've been talking, for the past 2 or 3 episodes about Microsoft versus Sony with the Xbox One and the PS4. And up until today, it was actually a pretty easy decision for most people. Surprisingly, a lot of Xbox people seem to go over and pre-order their PS4s and ignore the Xbox One because, catch everybody up on previous shows and also previous news for that, Xbox One really was heavy on the DRM. And then Sony just blew it out of the water, made fun of them, mocked them, and really nailed it at E3. I'm going to read the breaking news that we have here. It says Microsoft reverses on DRM. According to the site Giant Bomb, the changes in DRM are the following. No more always online requirement, because before there was a heartbeat where once every 24 hours, Microsoft said it would ping to see if there was an internet connection, which had people up in arms.
Hey, wait, can we talk about that, Michael? Because
sure.
I had brought this up on Tech News Weekly with John Suncast, who's with us. Remember how I wanted to talk about that charity that we had talked to, how they send consoles and video games over to our armed forces. Now, with the new Xbox One, that was pretty much going to eliminate that entire process for them because of that one requirement.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Who had said, there was a Microsoft executive that was interviewed who said, "Oh, well, there's people in submarines that aren't going to be able to." I mean, he kind of like just basically slapped all the military people right in the face with that. At least that was the blowback on social media because of that. So yeah, there's a long list of things they reversed course on here. Go ahead, John.
You know what they did is they told everybody, well, if you don't like our requirements for being online, well, then go and use the Xbox 360.
Right. Don Matrix said that, and I'm amazed he still has a job, in my opinion.
So
this whole requirement is just absolutely ridiculous. The fact that you have to be online at least once every 24 hours, that's asking a lot. Even for somebody that does have good internet, I think that's asking a lot. I can understand maybe once every 30 days. I think Adobe does that with their Creative Cloud software. So I don't really understand why they couldn't do something every 30 days like what Adobe does.
Agreed.
Well, it doesn't matter if you're on tour in Afghanistan or if you're in a submarine, you're not going to have even 30 days to do that. A lot of components like the Roku and the Apple TV, the Roku especially, I know it has a heartbeat that checks for an internet connection, but it is an all-on internet connected device, and we're aware of that. When we get on, all the services are streaming. With the Xbox 360, we can play it offline. With every other video game console up until the Xbox One, it was basically your choice, offline or online. This was a little bit different. And like I said, the console no longer has to check in every 24 hours. That's what they reversed on as well. Here's a big one, Colm. All game discs will work on the Xbox One as they do the 360. So that whole
what does that mean?
Confusing used game situation, which I still don't understand, is now been reversed.
So now it isn't like before. It was you buy a disc and then it basically is like a token that then is attached to your gamer tag, and you would only own it that way. And I think you could only, what was it, 10 times it could be downloaded or something like that.
You're talking about the family connected plan or the family
right.
plan?
Yeah, on your family plan. Or it can be shared sometimes with your family.
But
right.
that wasn't the point of contention. We were talking about it. If I travel up to Maryland with Madden 14, I can't play it. I have to pay some sort of fee to play it on another Xbox because it's licensed to my Xbox One. That was where it kind of got a little murky.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, so that now when I read that, I first thought that meant it was backwards compatible.
No, I think they're saying that this can be played the same way. I thought that too at first, like, wow, that means they have backwards compatibility, but I don't think that. Once again, another confusing thing with the Xbox.
Because if it's backwards compatible, that would almost mean I would want it immediately now if that's the case. Because the library of the Xbox 360 is incredible.
Well, I mean, PS4 may catch up. I don't know. Maybe developers are looking at this somehow and seeing the tide turn. A lot of pre-orders have really more PS4 pre-orders have come in, and we'll get to why Microsoft may have turned around. Another thing, an internet connection is only required when initially setting up the console. That's fine. All downloaded games will function the same when offline or online.
Thank
That's
God.
a good thing.
Yeah.
Here we go. No additional restrictions on trading games or loaning discs. So I'm sure GameStop and Best Buy, whoever has a used game program, is really breathing a sigh of relief after that, because their business was in trouble if Xbox was going to go through with this.
You know what? Rush2112 in the chat room just had a very interesting question. He or she, I guess I'm assuming he, because of all our female listeners out there. Actually, we do have a lot in the chat room. Excuse me. If all these initial requirements are so easily reversed, were they ever truly required from the beginning? Isn't that interesting? Sorry, Ebony. I remembered you were there.
So in essence, what they're saying is they really hadn't had this in place anyway. They were just throwing it out there to see how the community and how the customers would react. It was really a risky thing because they were going first. Xbox had their event first. Kind of gave a lot away for Sony to have time to give their press conference at E3. And like I said in the beginning, they really did nail it. They nailed every bit of it. And they basically just said, here's what Microsoft's doing. Here's what we're doing. And Sony's been known for the DRM calm. I mean, that's been something they've been famous for. And the PS4, I'm convinced they only did that because they saw Microsoft do the opposite.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was genius the way they basically... I really think they had a checklist of everything people didn't like online. It was just like, well, okay, we'll just say this, because, I mean, let's be honest, and we know this because we talk about CES all the time, how all these products are announced and all these amazing things that we never see. It's almost like they decided, okay, we'll just go up there and we'll say whatever we have to say to get people to pre-order, and then when it comes out, there'll be articles that it does this, and this, but oh well, we already got their pre-order money. I don't know. I mean, do you even think there's a functioning box? Either one of these boxes right now?
Yeah, I mean, a bare bones type, I would guess. I don't know. That's Paul Thrott's question, not ours. He's probably already got one. I would say this, and everybody who thinks that the community, I read Major Nelson's blog post about we heard your feedback and everything. This is not a response. Bill Savage on Twitter nailed it by saying, this is not a response to the customers. This is a response to Sony. That's why they did this.
Really? They actually said that?
No. Major Nelson said we're doing it because of the fans, because of the customers. Bill Savage said the real reason why Microsoft reversed this is because of Sony, because they really did. I think the pre-orders are very low for the Xbox One compared to the PS4 at this point, and they knew they needed to do something, and they needed to reverse all this stuff to get their pre-orders up.
You know what? I have to say that this is a very exciting time for the next generation. I believe this is the first time we've ever had head-to-head competition between the two. Like, to basically consumers have to decide which console they're going to purchase. It's because didn't the PS3 come out after the Xbox 360? A year later, or a couple months?
I'm not too sure about that. What about the Wii U? Where's the Wii U fit into this?
Where does the Wii U fit into this? Did you hear this, though? I have some news I found out today.
One more thing real quick. That is a good thing. the region stuff with the disc. So if you're using a NTSC or a PAL disc, there's also a third region, I guess, maybe for Japan or Asia.
Right.
There's no more regions. It's a region-free disc, and isn't that what
huge.
PS4 had talked about in their press conference? So this is actually right in line with trying to one-up or actually get in line with what Sony did.
So you know what's weird is that I believe the PS3 is region-free because I always play a lot of Japanese import games on it. So I think this is something that they've had to do that I don't know why they haven't done it in so long. It makes it so much easier to sell consoles because it's just one style.
Yeah. What was going to be your point?
Well, I was going to say, here's what I found out is that remember at E3, Nintendo was doing a thing with Best Buy where they were you could play Mario Kart 8 and then all the games they were talking about at E3 at a Best Buy. Yeah. Microsoft paid employees to go to 100 of these stores dressed with Microsoft polo shirts, and we're basically trying to convince people to pre-order the Xbox One instead of waiting in line to play these Wii U games. Can you believe that they did that? I saw pictures of it.
And what happened?
Most of the people were like, what are you doing? Like, I'm here to play a Wii U game. I don't care about your system that isn't out yet. Yeah. So that shocked me that I didn't even believe it was real, and then I saw pictures of it. So
kind of seems desperate, doesn't it?
Well, I mean, they had a horrible E3. Their only saving grace for me was that I thought Titanfall looked incredible, and that's pretty much the only thing that excited me on the 360. Granted, I did pre-order a 360. God, I keep calling it Xbox One because I have to have both, and if I didn't, I'd just go insane. So yeah.
Oh, so what I said was true. It ended up being right.
Aren't you always right, Michael, when it comes to my...
Unfortunately. Yes. Hey, John, if we can go on these show notes, we have the link to my Facebook post, which I shared from R.D. Lee. He was the one that actually broke it to me about the Xbox One reversal. If we can go to that Facebook post, I'm going to read some of the comments. We'll kind of go into a little bit of our interactive part of the show. I like a lot of people saying that, there was the biggest swerve in the history of our sport, which is a Gorilla Monsoon quote. Let me see what else we have here. Somebody says it right here. They still lost me, and I bet 1 million other loyal Xbox fans, and this won't get us back. At least it won't for me. That is pretty much a lot of people. Do you think they've already? I mean, they tried to. They tried. It's almost like they tried to pull a fast one on the customer to see if maybe they'll go for it. Let's try it.
Wow.
Stephen Wright said it just what I said. So Microsoft used this as a worldwide beta test to see if gamers will allow this crap. Do you agree with that?
I mean, yeah, I guess I do. Thinking about it. I mean, just because of last generation with just the way, I don't know. I feel like they just don't care about the consumers, but then they do something like this and it seems like they do kind of care because they realize, hey, we effed up.
But if they actually did care, wouldn't they have not done this to begin with? And they did such a 180 on this, it almost seems very suspicious as to why they did this in the first place.
Well, I heard the reason they did it in the first place was because of the third-party publishers were pushing for this.
Yeah. Well, I like the term that Greg in the comment section calls it the Xbox 180.
That is great. Yeah. When we got some tweets with that too.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's somebody
it's so funny how that works.
We just talked about the military one. I would reverse my decision to if, without forethought, I had alienated the entire world's military service members and then wondered why they get pissed when one of my execs tell them to buy a near decade-old console to solve the problem of offline gaming. Exactly the quote that we were talking about earlier. It's unbelievable. Who says that they won't switch it back with the push of a button is why I'll keep staying loyal to PlayStation. That's what we're talking here. They switched it so easily to reverse it. How do we know they're not going to bait and switch the customer? It's a little bit of a
scary thing.
It's scary. Sony could do it too, but I'm just saying Microsoft has already tried to show that hand.
And what about with last generation with the 360, how there were so many red rings and we just accepted it, sent back our consoles and got another one, and we were just okay with it just being a piece of crap, terribly made device. How many times is Microsoft going to just screw over the gamers and we're just going to keep accepting it? So, I mean, I'm buying one because I have to have it because I'm insane, but
You have to have it.
yeah, there's no way that could be out on the
You,
market.
you're
and I
gonna
not
physically have some sort of issue with yourself if you don't have this console.
Yeah, I will. I would like look at pictures of it and like probably make it my desktop.
So it's like
wallpaper.
porn. to you.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah,
have to have
you're
it. But,
addicted to this stuff. You need addiction
But-
counseling.
oh yeah, 100%. But as looking at it, I can actually take myself out and look at it as a unbiased person and realize that if I was someone who actually was thoughtful in the way in what I bought and research stuff, I would realize that I have to look at what's going on here, and I would only really want to still only get the PS4, in my opinion, or the opinion of me in third person.
In what person?
Third person.
Who's the third person?
Myself looking outside of myself.
Oh, now you refer to yourself in the third person, huh?
If you want, I could call myself the Colm.
No, I don't want that. I do not want that.
I
You
can
know
press
what?
button.
Why don't we do this? Why don't we do this? Why don't we talk? The Q&A has to do. We're kind of going back and forth with that. Let's do the Apple TV update news and then go to that because we're going to come back and touch on Microsoft. We have a couple questions about the Xbox One. So if we could talk about the Apple TV update, you're the one that text me or Skype me. You don't even text me anymore. You Skype message me. What is up with that? Is Skype your go-to now?
You want to be? You want to hear the real reason? And you'll think this is really funny.
What's that?
I think texting on an Android phone is absolutely terrible.
I believe it.
Yeah.
You're slowly coming back to iOS 7. I can feel
it's
it.
funny that you say that, Michael, because I'm running iOS 7.
All right. Well, we'll talk about that because we have an iOS 7 question. But right now, let's go to that link, John, at the unofficial Apple web blog. HBO Go, watch ESPN come to the Apple TV. Just when you thought you were going to cut the cable cord, the Apple TV drags you back in. Watch the ESPN is one of my favorite things to watch. And as a matter of fact, Colm knows that I'm always watching the shows on there. It really does play beautifully on the iPad. HBO Go, I'm not sure. I'm not an HBO subscriber, but this is huge news to bringing apps to the Apple TV to make the Apple TV an actual TV device. Now, of course, Colm, you don't pay for these apps on their own. You have to have a cable TV or direct TV or some sort of subscription to pay already to get these on this device. So it's not really cutting the cable at all.
Right. And the weird thing about this, though, Michael, is that the way that you said it is like bringing apps, but it really isn't bringing apps because you have no choice. It's like you basically do an update and you have these now channels. There's no app store still, yet these are definitely apps. They've definitely made some kind of deal with these providers. So what's holding Apple back from giving us this app store on the Apple TV? I don't get it.
I don't think they have. I don't think they have the stroke that they had back when Steve Jobs got iTunes and had the music industry kind of by the balls. It's different now. Now you do have Google. Now you do have some Windows Phone traction. BlackBerry has nothing, but I'm just saying mostly Google, because especially Google Fiber. Google has some TV services going out here and there. They seem to be more in line with what the TV companies are doing. Apple's still having trouble with the iTunes Radio signing labels to deals. So I don't know if they're going to be able to do that TV thing. And I'm convinced because of those deals not going into place is why we have not seen a television set yet from Apple.
That's probably exactly right. But here's my question to you is that now we've always talked about when you cut the cord that sports is really like the hardest thing to do. Yeah. With this Watch ESPN, which I have to say, it's gotten better every time I've used it. I believe you can watch the entire NBA playoffs now on it. I think NHL, you were able to watch them as well. And it's all you're not forced to watch any other ESPN program. It's usually just any live sport that they decide is the best game of the day. So is it getting closer for you, Michael, with this, or is the NFL really the one thing that would be the be all end all?
If I got NFL Network, ESPN's good, but if I got NFL Network, full NFL Network, and Red Zone in a package by itself, yes, I would probably get over-the-air antennas and and do Netflix. And now that we have some Cinema Now stuff that we're going to talk about in a little bit, that makes it much more of an option. Actually, we do have we have a Google Voice call from Artie Lee that I never sent over to play. Might have to do that next week. Anyway,
okay,
that's huge. That actually, just like Air Video changed my media consumption, this is right up there with it. And
we had a great talk about that. You were telling me about his voicemail, and it's unbelievable that Sony is sort of like leading that charge. I think they realize what they need to do to be relevant. But we'll talk about that, I guess, next time.
They got to put SD cards in the PS Vita. That's the next step to do.
Well, yeah.
I wish they would not. They seem to be getting. They talk about reversal in a good way. They seem to be reversing everything before that we knew about them with DRM, with locking stuff down, and with not sharing a bit of it. Now I've discovered that, wow, you can share a lot of Sony stuff, and it's not too bad. So, all right. So Apple TV, no, this doesn't cut the cord. This doesn't get me closer to cutting the cord because then I won't have access to these channels.
I don't think you're ever going to get that close to cutting the cable. I really don't. At least not in any of the near future.
Yeah, it's a yearly discussion. It's sort of like talking about the iWatch or the next iPhone or the next iPad. Every year, it's a rumor that's constantly going to be recycled throughout shows like this. So, yeah, it's a hope. It's a dream.
Think about it this way: Time Warner was reported to have been offering companies incentives not to take their content online. So, if you look at it that way, there's absolutely just no way that these cable companies are going to let you anytime soon cut the cable in any way if they can prevent it.
Do you think they're gonna give us some money someday to not bring our show online? That would be awesome.
That would be awesome. I'm in. I'm in.
Never see us again. All right, now we're gonna go to the Q&A. We were supposed to go to the Q&A because it was a slow news week. Still, nothing really besides the two things we talked about with Microsoft and with the Apple TV update. But I'm gonna read Q&A. We thank you for everybody that contributed through Twitter, through Facebook, and like I said, R.D. Lee left us a voicemail, but we're going to get that next week because I have to get the actual audio file over to Suncast for next week. But look forward to that because right, Colm, that's a good.
It's a game changer.
Yeah, it's actually.
Can you email it?
I'll email it to you, but we can do it next week because it's a pretty deep discussion. I think that has its own segment attached to it, and it's attached to all this other media consumption and the way to do it. It's cool. It's not enough of a tease. For that.
But no, I want to thank everyone because we had a great response from tweets and the Facebook page on these great, I think, excellent questions. We didn't even get like joke ones too. People were actually serious.
I did get a couple emails about I got an email from a girl that asked me to do certain things on the air for her that I couldn't do.
Okay, family show.
That was not tech related, by the way. Yeah, exactly. So, what was I gonna say? Oh, but I'll give everybody a little background. For the first 15 minutes, because Colm's not known to be the most patient person in the world, he Skypes me because obviously I know now why he Skypes me all the time. He says to me, he's like, everybody hates us. What's going on? Nobody's leaving any questions. Jesus Christ, our show sucks. Thanks.
Notice how he does my imitation of my voice. Okay, continue.
Well, you do my voice when you have some warped friggin' sense that I sound like a,
hey,
like a bottle shoved up my ass or something.
Colm?
I don't know the way I sound.
You sound like this. Colm, what are you doing? You're such an idiot, Colm.
No, I call you a moron, not an idiot. It's different.
Moron.
That's true. You do use that one.
Yeah. So, first question, and none of these questions are stupid at all. Like you said, they're very smart questions. Kyle Duffield, at Kyle Duffield, it's 45 seconds ago. Kyle Duffield. Kyle J. Duffield. What are you doing? Oh, there you go. Thanks a lot. Thanks for doing that, Colm.
No
What
problem.
do you guys want to see in iOS 7 that wasn't included? Do you like the new look? Anything wrong with it? I'm going to leave that up to you, Colm.
I have been using this now. What is this? This is day 5. Day 5. I have to say, overall, not impressed at all, which is kind of shocking. Granted, this is the beta. The flattened icons, I read all that stuff about everyone was comparing it to like Easter Sunday because of all the really pastel-y stuff, and I have to say, yes, it's a little overwhelming with that. Functionality wise, it's very functional. The best part about it is the control. Is that what it's called? Control center, control panel, control center.
Control center.
That is number one feature by far. I love that I can do Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, do the screen. I can.
Which you can do now if you have a jailbroken device. So
goodbye to all those flashlight apps.
This is way prettier with the transparency, though, right?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I was showing the new flashlight. That there's no flashlight anymore. That's built in the control. But you know how many times that I've needed a flashlight? Now it's just swipe and hit. AirPlay works great on it. What's missing from it? I think the number one, and I think Suncast will agree, and I'm sure you'll agree, Michael, is that I don't see any functionality with the drop down. What is that called?
Notification center?
Notification center. I don't see any functionality. Like with my Android phone, like I said, I work in that more than anything. Like I do a lot of my phone usage in this notifications, and I don't feel like it works at all or does anything worthwhile in there. So
it doesn't. It's completely useless. It's such a stupid little thing.
Well, there's no actionable notifications if you go back to episode 145. So that is a fact right now that we do not get any. It would be nice to reply to a text. Is the Byte SMS type reply to text, has that worked for you?
Yes.
How's that?
I mean, and we've just talked about how I don't like to text on my Android phone. I don't know if you've noticed, Mike. I don't know if how your phone's set up, but I've been texting you when I've texted you. It's through what is it? iMessage. So you're able to see. I don't know. It works so much better and it's easier to do on here. So yeah, that has worked, and it's just like you would expect it from the jailbroke version of that app. So
very nice.
I don't know. I'm not impressed. It's really not at all. Like when you first get it, it's like, wow, it looks a little different. And then after a day or so, I was just like, you know what? It doesn't really feel that much different. And a lot of the apps, like third-party apps, are really buggy. So I do not suggest anyone installing this. I only do it because this is my secondary phone. My Android phone is my number one phone. So that's why I did it. But it doesn't really. It's not a huge evolution from what we had before.
But this is what I was saying on Tech News Weekly, and I believe during the commentary when we were doing the keynote for this, is the fact that the major improvement in this is the way it looks. Other than that, there really is not a whole lot of new features or anything that's really been changed underneath other than the way it looks.
Correct. I couldn't agree with you more, Suncast. I mean, it's really the same operating system. I mean, the best feature, like I said, is that control panel because that adds a functionality that we didn't have.
Right, and that's what they need to do. They need to, not only do they need to do a design change, they also need to have some sort of new functionality. They need to improve on the way we use this device. Just changing these little things here and there, or the bubble animation, or the way something looks, just isn't really good enough. We still need to have some sort of evolutionary change with this device other than just the way it looks.
Yeah.
Well, here's the question. Since we're at a point now where I see a lot of people that were iPhone users going to the HTC One, and now a lot more going to the S4 from Samsung, the Galaxy S4. How would you rate now? You've been tempted by the S4. Are you more tempted now that you see iOS 7?
Oh, hands down. I mean, I was really thinking that iOS 7 was going to be like me saying, oh, forget it. I'm going back. But now after using it for a while, I mean, if they can improve texting, obviously. But no, there's no way I'm leaving Android for this at all. It's not that where I need to have it. Like, I'm really just not even impressed with it at all. And that's from someone who I was like hoping this was going to be that thing to bring me back. But like they said,
sorry.
No, what I've heard too is that there's been a lot of negative feedback towards it as well from people who are playing with it, and that they're saying that now it might not even end up look like this in the final version. So I don't know what they're doing.
Well, I would say this, that, it tempts me more when I see the S4 and what it can do, but I still say if iPhones start coming out at a more at a faster pace, like we're talking about the iPad, 7-month life cycle before the new iPad came out after the new iPad, I would say, okay, well, I might as well try an Android device for 6 or 7 months since the next iPhone is going to come out in half a year anyway. But right now, I still think that there are a lot of things in Android, like you talk about the texting. I really think that kind of stuff just holds me back from going over because I got to have a plan if I go to Android. I got to have those third-party apps. I got to customize it. I got to spend a lot of time with it initially. And that's what you did with the Note 2, right?
Yes,
now,
I couldn't agree more.
On the Apple side, they could have took even more from Android. And I'm going to tell you one thing that they could have took from Android that probably would have made things a lot better for a lot of people. Being able to buy and customize your own keyboard on there, because a lot of people complained about that keyboard as well.
Yeah, you know what, Michael? That is, I'm the one who I'm addicted to swipe. That's how I text now or write anything on my Android phone. But yeah, it would be great if that was possible. I just don't understand why they don't open that. And one more thing now that just because you said the keyboard and I brought the keyboard up, my biggest complaint, and this is weird because I'm a designer and I love white space. I almost feel like there's too much white in iOS 7. Like it's too much.
I can totally see that.
Like it's
I
almost
kind of agree
like
with you on that.
it's like the best app of the stock apps is the way. And here's what I think they should base the entire iOS 7 on: the photo app has the right amount because they're using like a grayish black in it, and it's different than all the other stock apps. All the other stock apps are really white, and this one, the camera app, looks how I want the rest of iOS 7 to look. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it's way too much.
But they're not going to do that because they'll have to release a certain part of the core functionality of iOS to be able to switch out the keyboard, and then that sacrifices what they have there to simplify things.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, I'm curious. I want you to use it to let me know, especially since you are everyday iPhone user, and I want to hear what you think. But yeah, it's just like I was really excited to get it. I put it on. I started playing for a while, and then after a while, I'm just like, oh. I mean, the only apps I'm liking are the camera app and iMessage.
Yeah, there's Matt Denton put in I think in the chat room here.
Oh, he's back.
How to get the iOS 7 beta now. I'm going to give a warning on that. Number one.
No, don't do that.
Birdsoft's in the room too, maker of Extreme Agenda and the Grid. Though a lot of apps don't work. John Blanton, who's also in the chat room, usually said that he had beta 1 and a lot of his apps didn't work. Number 2, this is a brand new iPhone 5. If I put a beta on here as a developer, officially say, and I go in because this has happened before. Something happened where my phone froze up. I thought it was bricked. I took it to the Apple store, and you remember this, Colm. They said, well, it's a beta. It's not the current iOS. It's not official. You're a developer. We usually cannot swap these out, so you're stuck with it, but we'll make an exception. We'll swap it out for you. Just giving people the heads up. If you go in with this and it's brick, they can tell it's a beta. Obviously, iOS 7 looks different than iOS 6, so you may be stuck with an iPhone until the official release, and then you can swap it out, but you're months with a phone that's useless at this point.
No, I think if you're not a developer, just wait. It's not a big deal. Also, the reason why I have it is because well, we could say developer. So it is linked to officially to my Apple ID, so it's all legit. I would not do anything that isn't legit like that because when you do the whole process, it checks it and then verifies you. So who knows if it could brick your phone?
And Apple checks. So if you're not official, they could eventually catch you and brick your phone anyway. And it won't be worth anything. All right, let's move on to the next question. This is a pretty interesting question, which I don't know if I had the best answer for because it's a realm that's sort of like it's tough to say.
Well, you did link the old version of the Airport Express, but that's whatever.
All right. But who did all the show notes? I'm sorry.
Oh, here we go.
One. While you're sitting there with your half an office doing nothing.
You know
all
what?
Right, so
wait, you know what, Michael? You know what?
No, you shut up and listen. That's it. Hear me? You know it can get taken down from YouTube if you do that.
No, 30 seconds.
Whatever. Christopher at the gamer mode now asked both of us, what's the best way to make a home entertainment system wireless? Now, I wasn't sure if he just meant audio or audio and video. So for audio, I think the simplest one to go with, Calm, would be the Airport Express, because basically you can plug whatever device you want into that. Actually, whatever speakers you want into the Airport Express. I'm going to try to get it. I've tried this before. AirPlay takes the music from your library on your computer or iOS device and sends it wirelessly to any connected stereo or speakers in your home. Audio cables are sold separately. You can play music on one set of speakers, or if you have more than one Airport Express connected to the speakers, play your music from iTunes to all of them at the same time. So basically, if you buy a few Airport Expresses, you can really have the equivalent of what Sonos does if you have an extensive iTunes library.
Oh, yeah, 100%. It works great, too. I had this set up at my in-laws' house where I bought one of those. It extends. Not only does it extend the network, but yeah, it has a great, I believe it's just a 3.5 jack, right? That you plug in and it sees it there, and you open up your iTunes and you say play it, and you can pick. You could basically, I believe you could watch a movie like on your laptop and have the audio coming from 3 rooms down, because it lets you individually pick video and audio in the AirPlay settings. So yeah, this is funny. This question, I mean, this hits home for me because I've been all about just trying to figure out what I'm doing in my new house. And to be honest with you, in a wireless solution, I thought 2013 wireless solution was a good idea. But to be honest with you, I highly recommend anyone that is going to a new home or whatever, make sure you have those Ethernet ports and right there at where you're going to have your TV and stuff, because it really does make a difference.
Oh, I wonder who told you to do that, too. I'm just checking. Are you still there?
I could press the button again.
No, you won't. So
Okay.
I'll tell you what, the Airport Express in certain situations that even this one, I thought the Airport Express would have solved our Skype issue, but I'm in the phantom zone of my home where no internet really goes, so we have to go hardwired. So I agree with that. You know, Wi-Fi and wireless technologies, you take a chance. So that's why we go to the next thing, talking about audio and video. And I've had this product before on a wired solution, but the wireless version is not all that bad either. It is, for the price, I really do feel like you can spend a lot of money, but in this day and age, especially it's kind of still in its infancy with wireless sound systems and stuff. I would go with the Sony soundbar for a couple $100. The CT150 3D soundbar system works very well. Has something over other soundbars because you can link up 3 HDMI devices and pass them through the soundbar to your TV. And I just feel like, we talk about Sony pretty well in this show, and I've had my problems with a lot of Sony products, but the soundbar is not one of them. It's really a great piece of technology. I think if you want to go even better than this, do the wired one for like $160, and you really can't go wrong. But for wireless, I would buy this at Best Buy or whatever electronics store. Try it out. Use their 30-day return policy, Chris, and see how it works for you. If you want to spend a lot more money, I'm sure there's solutions out there, but I really feel like anything above a couple $100 just to see if the wireless technology works for you, it's really not worth the investment.
You know what, Michael? It's funny. It's like before we knew each other and I was watching your videos, this was the second thing you ever recommended that I buy. The first being Pogo Plug. We will not go there. But the Sony soundbar, I mean, I was one of those guys that had a big amplifier. I had a speaker here, center channel, in the back, the subwoofer, and speaker wire everywhere. And you showed this off in a video. I got one. And from now on, every TV I get, I just get a soundbar with it because it does a great job of giving you that virtual surround sound. It's easy to use, easy to plug up. It's small factor. And now, when the ones we had, the subwoofers would have to be connected to the soundbar. Now, I have in my room over there, I have the soundbar nicely mounted on the wall, and then the subwoofer's off in the corner, and it doesn't bother anyone, and I don't have any cords. So I think their sound is incredible. I have the Samsung version. I believe it's at $269. And I love it because I have Samsung TVs and they talk to each other, and it uses the technology for the wireless is Bluetooth, so that works great. Yeah, I am a true believer in the soundbar because it just does the job, and it does it so well.
Yeah, I do not have that large DLP TV, Dallas 86 asked, and I don't have the Sony soundbar anymore. But the DLP, that Samsung 61-inch, was one of my favorite TVs, Colm. It only weighed 40 pounds, and you saw the size of it in some of my pictures in Connecticut. I was really a big fan of those TVs, and DLP TVs, I think, are underrated because you could replace those lamps, and they can last you another 5 years. They're very, very good TVs. They just take up a large footprint on you need a huge stand for them.
Well, that's why the projector.
Yeah, the
projectors use that
DLP.
technology.
I think that was one of my favorite TVs of all time. Looking at the soundbar, though, I still recommend the Sony. And you can go to the AVS forum. I don't know the official name of that. Is that it? AVS forums? And they have a whole thread on that's how I pretty much configured and tweaked my soundbar to sound even better for movies, for games. They have a whole thread and tutorial on how to do that. So, other companies haven't gotten that soundbar technology as far as multiple HDMIs. Every other one's RCA or maybe one HDMI, but Sony's the only one to put multiple. They have an HDMI switch built into the soundbar subwoofer, and I think that's a good deal for that.
Right. Yeah, that's how my soundbar had because I have a Sony one downstairs and the Samsung upstairs.
Yeah. All right, another game. The Christopher, same one. The gamer mode. Gamer mode now asks, do you use Steam's Big Picture mode? If so, what is your setup and what controller do you suggest? Xbox 360 controller, either wired or wireless? This is all you, Colm.
Okay. Yes, I use Steam Big Picture mode mostly because I believe it's a sexier interface for when you're a big Steam gamer, and I'm Culmination on Steam if anyone wants to send me a friend invite. But yeah, I have a tower sitting next to the TV and the whole console and stuff. It sits there, HDMI out of my video card straight into like one of the HDMI ports, and I'm using, and I think you can go to Best Buy right now. It is a little expensive. I wonder, it's probably cheaper on Amazon. It'll run you between $40 to $50. It's the Xbox 360 controller, which we all believe. Here's one right now that is great in the hand. And there's two versions. You can either go wired. They have a wired version, which is just USB right in there. And then when you want big picture mode, you just pick up your controller, put the input on wherever your PC is, hit the Xbox button, it immediately goes into Steam mode. You don't have to use a mouse or anything, and then you control the menus with this. Or what I have is you can buy the wireless version. I think it's like $10 more. It has a dongle, and it's the same way. You just hit this button, it connects, then you hit it again to go into big picture mode. I absolutely love it. And the best thing about big picture mode is that as you're playing, you'll see as your friends come online, it'll give you pop-ups saying so-and-so's online. Achievements that you get through Steam look better in it. It has really changed gaming for me and really moved me away from the current generation of consoles to become more of a Steam player. The only downside is for games like, here I'm going to say it once this show, Dota, which is a mouse and keyboard game. That's where you can't really play in big picture mode because it uses a mouse and keyboard. So you have to put this down, get a lap desk or something, because I don't know. You know this, Michael, is that playing a console game is more like a couch game where you're a little bit further back from the screen. But when you play like a mouse and keyboard, it's sort of like you're a lot closer, and the texts are usually smaller in those games. So it depends what type of gamer you are, really.
Let me ask you a question about that too. Well, I'm going to make a suggestion because I found out the hard way. If you are on a Mac and playing Steam, you have to get the wired controller. It's just such a clunky mess to try to use the wireless, right?
Yes, I tried to do the wireless one. I could never get it to work, and then I just took a USB one, plugged it right in, and I believe they even have the drivers are on the App Store that you just download for free, and that worked like a charm. So, and then I used that with big picture mode. I played The Walking Dead fully on the Mac, and it was a great experience. And especially with our MacBook Retinas that have the HDMI out, which just makes this like incredible for that. So
Yeah, that's when I started to pay attention. I said, "Wow, I can just put out an HDMI and play it like that with a long wire controller." And I got an Xbox 360 type experience on Steam for about a fourth of the price that I would pay. I mean, there's a lot of $10 games, $20 games on Steam.
Right. That's the huge advantage that I hope we're going to see this in the next generation, is that the competitions of where it's not that we're having a competition between the consoles. It's more like we're having competition of what games can we get real cheap and get as many of them and build up this library. I mean, my Steam library, I have like 70 games installed on it right now, and it's just unbelievable that I could pick whatever I want at any time. So, yeah, go get a 360 controller.
Yeah, I might have to try that out. All right, now we're going to head back, and we have Matt Denton, I think, asked us this question. Just how bad did Microsoft screw the pooch on this? Heading back into the Xbox One news of the reversal of the DRM. What do you think, Colin? Do you think they really, at this point, have confused people even more, or made people put up red flags and walls saying, I'm not going to trust these guys now?
I think if you're watching this show, you could have some doubts, but I think if you're just the average, I only play Call of Duty and Madden every year, I don't think it even mattered to you and that you were just going to get a 360 no matter what. I really do. I don't think the average gamer could care less. They're either Xbox or they're Sony.
$100 difference, and what about the fact that some people Kinect is still, in my opinion, a joke? What if they sold it without Kinect for $399 and matched PS4? That's something people.
I would do that in a second. Too. Oh, that's the version I would rather have. I don't want Kinect. Hopefully now, if it doesn't have to go online all the time, the console, maybe it'll let you actually unplug the thing. I don't want Kinect. I don't like any Kinect games. I don't care about saying Xbox on. I can press a button. I'm not, due to contrary belief, I'm not that lazy that I can't press a button. So I don't know. And also, voice technology is not good. I have not used any voice technology that's been incredible besides Google Now, and that's not even 100% perfect.
Well, dictation on the Mac is pretty good now.
Oh, that is true.
Siri works bad.
But
go ahead.
But Michael, with Dragon Dictation, does that not work better if you do the whole setup process so it learns your voice and the way you speak? There's no way the Kinect's going to do that.
Well, the Kinect will do something pretty scary, and that means it'll end up, we're worried about it listening, not it listening not good enough, right? We're worried about it listening too well.
Right.
So that's the point of contention right there, that we don't want that Kinect to always be listening for us to say, "Hey, Xbox." We don't want that. And that's why you want to shut it off. That's why you don't want the Kinect, right? You don't want a microphone in your living room or your bedroom.
I know when Essay comes over to my house, if I had that, every time he's gonna say Xbox off or Xbox on just to mess with me, because that's what he'll do.
Oh, so I can do that if I'm losing in Madden, Xbox off.
Yeah, that's true. If we're on Skype, we'd probably be on Skype playing. So yeah,
that's true. All right, next question is from Marcus. He asked, "Hey, this is going to be interesting for you at the new studio. Hey, what would you suggest is the best microphone and/or headset with mic to do voiceovers on high-end HD videos? Thanks." Well, look at what I'm using right now, Marcus, and that's the first thing we're going to pull up from Amazon. Big price drop on this. I got in right at the price drop, calling for $325 to now $279 for the Hall PR40, and I'm mixing it with something else, but it's still a great mic on its own without any kind of mic compression or whatever we're using over here. I have a piece of equipment too. But before we do that, before we talk about what would enhance both of these microphones, do you still recommend the second microphone that we're linking in on with this question?
I mean, I like the Shure SM7B because of the look of it, to be honest with you. I love the look. I could care less really about the sound. It's all about the look for me. Now, if you really want to worry about the sound, you could follow someone like Mike Phillips on Twitter. But also, you have Michael right here. How many microphones have you used in your life, do you think?
Counting the MXL is probably a good 17 or 18. And I sold the SM7B.
What about in your career? What about your career too?
Oh,
How
they
many?
use a standard. They use a, I mean, the radio stations use either the Electro Voice or the SM7B, but they have a ton of compression. They have a ton of, they sweeten it really good at a radio station. Live microphones, I couldn't say what I was using with a live microphone, but they were very
Really?
expensive wireless microphones. So, yeah, you're not talking about just the microphone. You're talking about the entire setup. What he's
Right,
wondering
so-
is, what are you going to get out of just a really great microphone? Well, let's back it up a second. Now, is Marcus looking for a really good USB mic that he doesn't need a mixer and the DBX 286S that I have here to really,
Or
when
mine.
you talk about the microphone, you have two other pieces of equipment if you want perfect sound. If you want a great USB microphone, there's stuff like the Audio Technica, the
You mean the
2020
mic I'm on right now, Michael? I
The mic
use
you're on?
the Audio Technica. I think this is the best USB mic out there. I mean, I don't have a link for you. Maybe Suncast can do a little magic. It's the Audio Technica ATR 2100. This was actually recommended to me by Mike Phillips.
30
This,
bucks.
if you like the way I sound on the show and you think this is high enough quality for what you're trying to do, there it is. He has it up. $36 for this microphone. It is incredible. I can also monitor myself so I don't scream like I usually do. Volume controls on it. It's so easy to set up. Works on a Mac and PC. For the price and for the quality, I mean, you can't go wrong. But he says in here high-end HD videos. Maybe he really wants to spend the money and go the extra limit. But not only getting those microphones, what could you get, Michael?
What are you talking about? What?
How you're sweetening your voice and making it better.
Oh, it's called a DB. Andrew told me this would be the best thing that I could ever buy, and I think he's right. I mean, I don't
He
know
is.
if my audio does sound a lot different, and we're still tweaking it. It's the DBX 286S, and it dropped down to $183 from $229, where Andrew still said it was a steal. But for this price, it really does make a difference. We're maybe a little further along than Marcus is. I mean, I would recommend he go with your microphone, maybe even the Rode Podcaster, which I did 50 episodes of podcasting with the Rode Podcaster. That's a great microphone too. You know, just a plug and play USB mic, couple $100, but it's built like a tank, 10-year warranty. I don't think you can beat that kind of stuff for $200, and you don't have to worry about a mixer or a DBX.
Yeah, I'm going to purchase one this week. I cannot wait to get one. You've
What's
sounded.
that? No, the DBX, not the Rode.
The DBX, yeah. The Rode Podcaster, I'm not really a fan of, but that's just
Okay.
my opinion.
Well, one of the added things that you get with a DBX is the fact that it also has a gate in it, which is very important if you do a lot of voiceovers, is that you have some sort of gate that'll isolate your voice from the background, and so you don't have all this background noise bleed through into your voiceover.
Yeah. You know what? I was living with this hiss, and probably the audience was living with a hiss for me for God knows how long. And I thought, oh man, my headphone jack is completely just, the Mackie mixers have been a nightmare for me. But Andrew took 5 minutes and pretty much just said, oh, well, with the DBX, you can turn up turn down the output on the mixer and turn up the output on that, and the hiss went away. So now I'm not going to go deaf. I'm already half deaf from it, but I literally would dream about hissing in my ear. Thank God I live with cats and I'm used to it. But anyway, I digress. That's all right. So I would say your microphone, Calm, especially if Marcus has an Amazon Prime account, spend the $36, test it out, see how it is. They have a generous return policy. See if it works for you. If you feel like you need a mixer and a microphone, or a mixer, a DBX and a microphone, I would go with the Hall PR40. I would go with the DBX, and I would still probably go with the Mackie Pro FX8 for the price. It's under $200 now, and it's not too bad.
Yeah, it definitely, if it's your first mixer, I think that's an incredible first mixer for you.
Yeah, that's a good one. So I hope we didn't confuse you even more.
Probably did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we have two different ways of looking at the next question, Colm, and that is about a secure PDF reader, and that is from MARU37 on Twitter. He said, "What's a good secure PDF viewer for Windows that isn't the free Adobe Reader?" Now, I picked other free ones, but you picked one that was
No, I actually realized that mine is. I took mine away because
It's in the
mine
list.
was yours. Yeah, but it was just a paid version. I didn't realize they had a free version, so I took it away.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, talk about yours.
Bring that page up if you could, John, and you scroll down a little bit. Now, the one that keeps coming up, there's two to keep coming up, actually. The one that keeps coming up in all the searches is the Foxit Reader, but the reviews have been really, really strong for the PDF Exchange Viewer. Is that the one that's the paid
That's
one?
the one. That's the one.
That's
There's
the
a
that has
the paid
excellent
version-
reviews.
Yeah, the free version does a lot of annotations. It's really great to use. But I think if you want to use the OCR function, you have to pay $40. And what OCR means is that basically you could take a picture of text and you could bring it into this as a PDF, and it could convert that to editable text. You know, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay,
Annotate.
so yeah, PDFX Change Viewer, I would say would be my number one, but Foxit Reader is not bad. And you have another one here, the third one, for the really bare bone. If you're just going to just do simple reading, I guess, with it, then and printing, Sumatra PDF Viewer is the way to go. But yeah, for me, PDFX. Is that how you say it? PDFX Change.
PDF Exchange Viewer. I would say this too, man. If you're on the Mac side, Preview is pretty powerful
amazing.
now for annotations and capturing a signature and doing a lot of different stuff. It's kind of like a bare bones PDF pen.
Yeah, I prefer it.
Not bad.
I'm 100% with you on that. I have all the Adobe products, so it comes with Acrobat Pro, and almost 9 out of 10 times I'm opening things in Preview just because it's so much faster to work with.
Yeah, Adobe with that connected stuff, especially with the reader and everything. It's always updating and it always seems to be calling home. You notice that it's not every 30
yeah, it
days.
is.
I use the Adobe Reader, but it's always, even when I open it, update it, before I close it, it wants an update again. It's always going back to their servers, and that makes me a little nervous if I'm signing secure documents. This guy wants to have something secure. I wouldn't say that. He's pretty smart probably to, hey, there's, I don't want this thing keep phoning home when I'm trying to sign these secure documents. I want Adobe knowing what I'm doing.
I'm really not happy with Adobe just because, I use Adobe products in my daily life. It is part of how I make a living is by using those apps. And I got an email about how I need to check out Adobe CC Creative Cloud and try out for 30 days the apps that I'm renting if I want for $50 a month to rent the apps when I just paid $1,600 to own them all for myself. So I'm going to be staying on CS6, and I do not see myself going there until I must go because a client is also on it. But I cannot believe they want $50 a month to do that, especially for people who already have purchased. I know I get a discount. It's like $20 a month for the first year. Oh, thanks a lot. Really upset about
Here's
that.
the thing. It's kind of stupid because you got Pixelmator, you got Acorn, you got lots of really powerful, cheap apps in the App Store to get free upgrades, and they're really good. You've talked about Pixelmator, you've talked about Acorn before. Those apps combined, I think, are $35 or $40. So there you go.
Pixelmator is down to like $14.99. The only problem is that it has trouble reading your Photoshop files that you made with Adobe products because it's .psd. I don't know if I know there's a plugin I know you could use that fixes that, but I haven't gotten it. And it's basically like if you decide to go to Pixelmator, you need to just start fresh and not worry about things in the past and like start building your portfolio off that. But then you're stuck, I think, in that system. So it would be great. If Apple created something to compete with Adobe, but if that happens, that's going to be a crazy time. So I don't know.
So do you think it's okay to start off in Pixelmator or Acorn and just stay in that universe?
Oh, if money is a problem and you're on a budget, I think you can do everything that you need to do in Photoshop in Pixelmator. Advanced techniques, which the majority of people aren't even using in Photoshop. I use Photoshop to edit and color correct photos and make web graphics, but am I using all the special effects and stuff in there? Rarely.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. Two more questions, right back on the Xbox One and the PS4 stuff. Real Milos asked all of us, including Andrew, how much will the rumor of Microsoft changing their online and DRM help or hurt them? Well, it's not a rumor now; it's been announced. So, how much do you think? Give me a guess on how do you think this will affect their sales come maybe even in November? Do you think people are going to remember this or forget it, or it's all going to be kind of like washed?
I think they're going to forget about it, and it's not even going to be an issue. I think the biggest thing right now is probably the $499 versus $399, in my opinion. And if Sony's smart, since they haven't released a release date, they should just come out a week before the 360, and that would just be amazing.
That's a really good idea.
Yeah. They could destroy Microsoft if they do that.
It's true. Okay, last question. Same Microsoft. How does Microsoft Xbox 180, that's what people are calling it. I have a feeling that's going to catch on.
Yeah.
The Xbox 180 change of heart impact Sony's holiday sales. What can Sony point to now? Okay, that's a good point. You just made, I just used dictation. They heard that. All right, you kind of answered that. That's how they can beat Microsoft right now, is by releasing it early. That can be something that'll combat them.
Yeah, if they do 1 week early, like right now on Amazon, it's just December 31st. There's no way these consoles have to come out before Black Friday. That's a given. There's no way that these consoles won't come out. So I'm thinking in November, early November, we're probably. Andrew tells me November 5th for for Xbox. So Sony will probably, if they're smart, they'll do the last week in September.
I think if they're smart, what they would do is they would release it when football season started and have some sort of. That's my wishful thinking, because I'm still trying to figure out how much money they're all leaving on the table, especially Xbox, with this integration with the NFL. And
I don't get it.
In November, how many games into the season is that? That's more than halfway, isn't it?
Well, I told you that I found out insider sources that we're going to have that NFL app on iOS this year, and you'll be able to purchase the season, and then that's game over.
Zone?
Oh
Red
yeah,
Zone?
it'll whatever. Yeah, Red Zone, whatever.
Airplay?
It's going to be game over.
AirPlay?
I don't know about AirPlay. I can't confirm that.
Well, I could probably plug it in with the HDMI adapter anyway, right? That's what I used to do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what you could do.
Okay.
Totally.
Who cares about AirPlay then? I'll buy one of your hundreds of adapters you release every year for that. So, yeah, I'm still trying to figure out. I don't know yet. I don't even know if I'm going to get either one. Like you said, especially if iOS comes out with something like that, I may just wait and see. I've turned it around so far between. I used to be such an early adopter, and now I just wait.
Wiser. You're getting wiser and more mature.
Getting poorer. I'm not getting those. I'm not getting those 5 and 6 figure royalty checks every quarter anymore.
You know what question I hate to get from Michael Manna is, should I buy a Wii U? Oh wait, should I do the voice? Should I buy a Wii U? And I'm always like, no.
I got all this Nyko accessories I got to review. What am I going to do? Well, if I had a Wii U, this is how it would work.
Well, even though you have those, what are you going to play on it?
Here's what I want. All right.
What are you going to play?
We want to play Wii games. I got some pretty cool accessories. I got the charging thing.
If you're going to play Wii, then yes.
I might as well go all the way and get the Wii U. That way I can play the Wii games that we're going to play. And I maybe get Batman Arkham City used and try the second screen thing. I really did see something kind of cool that, talking about the Wii U for a second, I heard that if people came over with their 3DS, we can all play multiplayer that way too.
Oh yeah, that's true. Correct.
So have you tried that?
I have never. SA is the only person that can come over that plays video games with my friends, and he doesn't have it.
Got to get people to buy a $350 game system or $100. Well, the 3DS is a better buy than the Wii U. You can admit that. Right?
I agree that, and I also agree that Vita is a better buy than the Wii U.
Yeah,
yeah.
The Vita.
I pick up my Wii U, and I only play Mike Tyson's Punch Out. I do love the old school games that you can play on it, and it's something that I hope when my son gets older and hopefully gets into video games, he'll probably hate it because I'm into them. But I want to be like, these are the games I grew up with, and he'll be able to play them. Especially, it's great to play it on the little console thing that it comes with. And that's the one thing that I think we'll have to see how the Vita interacts with the PS4. But with the second screen that Nintendo did, they did a good job with that. I'm not going to take that away. It is the right way, and they pretty much started that whole trend.
Yeah, somebody said that they should buy GameStop stock because it'll go up tomorrow, and I agree with that. That's going to affect their bottom line big time. So I think that's it. We had some really, really good questions, and want to thank everybody. That was good. I mean, for being anytime we have you don't like to create news or try to hang on news that doesn't exist. I think these interactive shows, and I think Paul and Andrew did it yesterday. I think they're great ideas, and we should probably do it maybe once every month or two. That would be a good. It's just good to get the audience
I agree.
involved. Right? All right. Well, this is something that probably doesn't change either. We're going to go to our Netflix segment. Yes, I usually pick the same one every single week usually, and the first person in the chat room, the guest, gets a friendly shout out. How's that?
There you go.
If you guys pick for Netflix, then you are a loyal listener and viewer of the show. But every episode of the T4 show is brought to you by Netflix. You can visit netflix.com/GFQ, and there's the banner on the bottom, and try it free for 30 days. Go to netflix.com/GFQ. I always say every episode, but I do guarantee you, if you do the 30-day free trial, you're at least going to buy the $8 a month streaming plan. If you have more than 2 or 3 people, if you have 4 people streaming at the same time, no problem, $12.99 a month. And it is excellent. Netflix is the first step to cutting the cable, cutting the cord, or even just enhancing your viewing experience at home, on your iPad, on your iPhone, Android tablet, which Colm doesn't even use anymore, and even just your computer. So what is your pick, Colm?
My pick,
yes.
And this comes off of news that was out today, is that Mr. Ken Levine, the special writer, creator of the BioShock series, from the first BioShock, which blew my mind, to the recent BioShock Infinite, which just changed my life. He is now going to write the new Logan's Run remake. And if you don't know what Logan's Run is, you go to netflix.com/GFQ and watch Logan's Run, which was a great movie from the mid-'70s, science fiction. I saw it, years ago, so I need to go back and watch it again. But it stars, what's his name? I can't remember his name, but you'll know him when you see him. And they're living in a futuristic world, and these people come together, I believe it's once a week or maybe once a month, and they go to Ascension. I'm so terrible. I haven't seen it in so long. They call it something where people are chosen and they think they're going to a better place, but it's not really what they seem, and you find out there's really something controlling them and things going on in the background. So check it out. And
what is it? I'm reading the description. There's nothing in there. I don't know what movie you're describing. What in the world would they? Did you? Is that from your fantasy world or something?
No, what do you mean? That's the real thing. They're not going to tell you what the movie's about in here.
That is the worst description. You should have just read it right from Netflix.com. I'm going to read it. In the year 2274, the world's urban centers have been abandoned due to ecological disasters. See, it threw me off. And the remaining population has forged a society in a domed city where no one is allowed to live past 30.
Correct. Everyone's young and hot.
Adventure from Michael Anderson. So Michael York stars as a population control agent who, nearing the age of 30, goes on the run to avoid certain death, and Richard Jordan plays his ex-partner, determined to hunt him down. I don't know where. I mean, I'm sure it's in there somewhere, whatever you were talking about.
No, it's this thing. I think it's called Ascension, or
no, where they go. Like they're going to a better place, that they're getting rewarded, but they're getting killed.
They are.
For 30.
That's what you're saying. I don't think they know that they're getting killed in the movie. I'm pretty sure they didn't. But anyway, it's got 3.5 stars, and if you go to or Netflix.com/GFQ, you could watch it for free with your 30-day trial, and you're going to want to stay once you use it.
I'm trying to. So they're not allowed to live past 30, but they're allowed to. They don't kill them. They of course they kill them. They're not allowed to live past 30. What do you?
But I don't think they know that.
They have kids.
You haven't seen it. You don't know. Maybe I am right.
Oh, I don't think you're right. Nobody even tried to
Look at
get
this.
them.
Uber Geek in the chat says Ascension, so I was right about that.
One
And look,
word-
Birdsoft, how about this? Birdsoft says I'm kind of right. How about that?
He's kind of right. Well, he's your
So
friend.
everyone should watch it and tweet me back and tell me if I was right. And no, tweet Michael back that I was right. That would really be
Michael,
good.
And I'd be happy to know. And I don't know why there's a picture of a chat room, but that's okay. All right. So my pick. Nobody guessed. Nobody
No one
even
guessed.
bothered.
Terrible.
Probably
Do you
nobody
guys
guessed.
watch the show? Come on. He says it every week.
I don't say it every week. I didn't say it last week.
That's right.
Justice League Unlimited. I go back and forth between the regular Justice League and the Unlimited one. Which ones did I watch last night? I watched 2 or 3 yesterday with the cats. They
Are you
like it
excited?
too.
Michael, are you excited about the new Marvel Avengers Assemble is coming end of June on the Disney XD channel? I'm excited about that.
I didn't know that. I want to see it.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to tell you season one, episode 16, the Doomsday Sanction. While Superman battles Doomsday, Doomsday was basically created by the government out of part of Superman's DNA. So it's pretty interesting. They give a lot. The Justice League Unlimited has some kind of bad episodes I don't like, spin-off type episodes, but there is a pretty dark and really, I don't know. It seems realistic on the government side with the secret plans and stuff like that. They really tied a lot of cool stuff into it. And of course that involves Batman seeing through it all, which is awesome. And that's part of it. Batman discovers an elaborate conspiracy to destroy the Justice League. And that's episode 16 on season 1. Also, I was watching Clash, which introduces Captain Marvel, which you like Captain Marvel, right? So it really is, when you go back and watch, I watch these over and over again, and it's no secret. But when I go back to watch them, there's all these little things, the tie-ins and everything, kind of like your movie Man of Steel, where you see Wayne Tech, the Wayne Tech building in the movie. There's little stuff in these cartoons that really play a little bit off of what you see in the movies, other stuff that you see in the comic books, and it seems to stay true to life to what the story arcs and stuff like that go. So I can't recommend it enough. Yeah, I do watch it a lot. I watch cartoons, and she gets mad and she asks how many more times can you watch it, and I say, well, I'll show you. How's that? You'll find out.
You'll see.
I'll see. I'll be watching it. I wasn't allowed last night. I was told to shut it off because it was too loud.
I was also too loud last
You were
night.
yelled at too.
Yes. That's just a true story. But I think that's it, Michael.
Yeah, I was just looking. The James Galdale. I'm looking at some stuff in the chat room. It has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
Oh.
So, once again, netflix.com/GFQ 30-day free trial. Want to thank everybody for coming in for the Q&A. We had one of our largest chat rooms to date, so thank everybody for coming in the chat room. Please remember to subscribe on iTunes. There's an audio and video version since we joined the GFQ network. All the products that we showed that will be in the show notes, go through the Amazon banner to the right. I don't know if John can bring that up here. You can go to the Amazon.com store for GFQ and support GFQ wherever you make a purchase on Amazon.com. You can click on that right below the Carbonite ad, and that would help out the GFQ network greatly. You can follow. What's that?
What about T-shirts, Michael?
Oh, my goodness. I didn't even bring it up. John. Oh, geez.
What are you doing, Michael?
I don't know.
And I heard a story that tomorrow we're going to be releasing possibly 2 new shirts. We're not going to
T-shirts.
We're not going to
to
say
one in the PS4. Related Xbox One PS4 T-shirts available for $20 at ProWrestlingTees.com/Stevie Richards. If you bring that up, John, actually it was I'm one of the top sellers on the store.
What would you do without me, Michael, if I wouldn't have reminded you?
What would you do without me if I didn't tell you to create these 2 shirts we're going to create tomorrow?
The shirts, you guys follow us on Twitter tomorrow. We're gonna tweet it out when they're live. I think these are shirts that everyone in this chat room is gonna at least want one of them. I think. But we're not going to tell you what they
buy
are.
one or the other. Yeah, or in Calm's case, you'll buy both. So
Yes.
there's the T4 show shirt. That it looks sharp. I have one being sent to me right now. So I don't know if it matches your GFQ shirt, but it's going to be a really good shirt. You have you have an option to upgrade if you want long sleeve, if you want
Talk about
a
that.
child's t-shirt, a lady's t-shirt, or even if you want a better quality, say American Apparel type thing, you can upgrade the shirts accordingly and really customize it the way you want. Also, those colors, you can get them in different colors if you'd like. They said that if you email them and try to, you can definitely get them in different colors if you want. So that's about it.
Everyone's always asked us about how to get shirts. We have a place for you to get the shirts, so no more questions of that. And if you get one of the shirts, please take a picture of yourself wearing the shirt and send it to us as well.
Maybe it'll get a free picture or something of you. How's that?
Yeah, because they want that.
Yeah. So thank you for reminding me of that. Stay tuned. Follow me at Michael Manna. Follow him at Culmination. Follow the other guy who does the camera switching at Suncast with a K. And also you can follow GFQ Network at GFQ Network. Stay tuned tomorrow. We'll have those new T-shirts put up in the store. But for now, for everybody here at the T4 Show, thank you. Best of luck in all your future. Is it Xbox One or PS4 endeavors?